So the Tyson Fury fanboys are accusing me of being biased because I criticized the WBC for putting Tyson Fury at number 3 in their latest rankings. Well, first of all, I'm not blaming Tyson Fury for getting the top 3 ranking. I'm blaming the WBC. It's not Tyson Fury's fault that the WBC have no integrity, even though he's benefiting from it in this particular instance. I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming the WBC. So let's just get that straight. Secondly, if I'm biased, then that would imply that I'm treating Tyson Fury differently than other fighters who have been in similar situations, right? That would imply that when other fighters come back from long layoffs and receive rankings they don't deserve, that I give them a pass, yes? That's what that implies. So let's take a look at it and let's see if what you're saying is true or whether you're talking out of your backsides. This is a video that I did back in June 2016, the 5th of June to be precise. The title of the video is David Haye Gifted IBF number 3 ranking. And in the description, I say, or I ask the question, how the hell did that happen? Let's have a quick listen to what I said in this video.
David Haye hasn't fought a legitimate opponent in 4 years. And the IBF are ranking him at number 3? What? The vast majority of the people below David Haye in the IBF rankings have been fighting better quality opponents than he has over the past 4 years. Definitely. So how he's managed to get up there, I've got no idea. Yeah.
All right, so there you heard it. I'm not happy with the fact that David Haye got a number 3 ranking and managed to leapfrog all these other fighters in the IBF top 15 who had been fighting much more regularly than David Haye, who had been fighting much better opposition than Arnold Jerjai and Mark Demori, the guys David Haye fought in his comeback, guys who have been paying their sanctioning fees over the past few years when David Haye, again, hadn't been because he'd been inactive. So all of these guys who have been putting in work, they were putting in work for nothing. Because David Haye was able to come in, fight a couple of cream puffs and leapfrog all of them. It makes a complete mockery of the rankings. And I've been very consistent in criticizing sanctioning bodies for doing this kind of thing. And just as there is now with the Tyson Fury video I did yesterday, back then you had people in the comment section, certain people, idiots, saying silly things. For example, this comment, look at this. Get over it. David Haye will shut you all up. Another fool here. Look at this. Hatman, you're always SHITTING on the Haymaker. He isn't the first to get favorable consideration from a sanctioning body, so why single him out? I'm not singling him out, you donut. I'm singling out the sanctioning bodies for behaving in a way that is completely devoid of any integrity. Another video I did here, September 2016, again about David Haye and his comeback. Let's hear what I said.
Gilberto Mendoza, the president of the WBA, that's the World Boxing Association, has come out and said that David Haye is firmly in the mix for getting a shot at the WBA heavyweight world title in 2017. And this comes off the back of David Haye beating up 2 very, very poor quality contenders in his past couple of fights, in Mark Demori and Arnold Jerjai. It's pretty incredible that he is getting ranked as highly as he is by certain sanctioning bodies like the WBA and the WBC, but let me not go on a tangent about that again.
All right, so you get the picture. You get where I was going in this video too. So in this one, I'm criticizing the IBF for giving him a top 3 ranking. In this video, I'm criticizing the WBA for giving him a high ranking off the back of those 2 joke fights that he had. And then there was this video, which was from October 2016, the same year. Listen to what I say in this video.
Inexplicably, the WBO have made David Haye the mandatory challenger for the winner of that fight. How in the world did that happen? David Haye hasn't fought anybody in the WBO top 10, top 20, or even top 30 since he fought Derek Chisora several years ago. When was that, 2012? So he's fought nobody in the WBO top 30. He hasn't even fought anybody in the IBF, WBC, or WBA top 10, top 15 since fighting Chisora several years ago. How in the world does this guy get made the mandatory challenger for the WBO belt for the winner?
So you get the picture there as well. Then you've got other videos, and there are so many videos on my channels, not just on my current channel, but even on my old channel, where I am criticizing sanctioning bodies for giving fighters rankings they don't deserve, particularly when fighters are coming off long layoffs and are taking on a couple of cream puffs in their comeback, and all of a sudden they're in the top 5. I have been consistent year in, year out when it comes to criticizing sanctioning bodies for doing exactly that. So this idea that I'm singling out Tyson Fury or singling out David Haye or singling out whoever is a myth. I'm very consistent. So before you open your mouth to say something stupid, you better check my track record. Yeah? And let me just get on to a couple of other things that people said in the comments section of my video about Tyson Fury being ranked number 3 by the WBC. A couple of people tried to say that Tony Bellew is also undeserving of his top 10 WBC ranking. Well, didn't you listen to what I said in the video? I said in the video that Tony Bellew was ranked too high. I said in the video that he came back against David Haye, an injured David Haye, and those 2 wins don't make it legit that he's ranked so high in the WBC. I said that in the video. Didn't you listen? And furthermore, this is another point that I have to make. David Haye had no business being ranked at number 3 in the IBF or being WBO mandatory or being ranked highly in the WBA. No business. The fact that he was a champion before, so what? He'd been out the ring a long time. If you've been out the ring a long time, you need to prove yourself again that you're worthy of the top 10, top 15. Of course you need to prove yourself again. And the way David Haye fell apart against Tony Bellew shows that he wasn't deserving of the rankings that he was given. Imagine he'd gone in there against a legitimate heavyweight rather than a blown up cruiserweight. It could have been far worse for him. There are many people who said after the David Haye Bellew fights that if David Haye had fought Derek Chisora in a rematch, he probably would have lost in the condition he was in. His body was falling apart. You see, so David Haye needed to actually have a fight against a top 15 heavyweight or a top 10 heavyweight to prove himself worthy of being ranked in the top 10, because we found out that he was actually not worthy of being ranked in the top 10. The Bellew fight showed us that his body had completely fallen apart. And so is the case for Tyson Fury. If you're going to rank him, particularly if you're going to rank him number 3, let him fight somebody at least in the top 15 first before you give him a top 15 ranking. How are you going to just elevate him and let him leapfrog above all these other guys who have been paying their sanctioning fees, who have been active, who have been fighting much better opposition than people like Pianetta and Sefer Safiri? How are you going to let him leapfrog all those guys who have been putting in work and paying their sanctioning fees and all that kind of stuff? Well, it makes a mockery of the whole ranking system then, doesn't it? Another thing that some imbecile said in the comment section of my Fury video. This imbecile said that this imbecile claimed that I said Kevin Johnson should be ranked above Tyson Fury. I said nothing of the sort. I mentioned Kevin Johnson to illustrate how ridiculous it is that Tyson Fury has got a top 5 ranking off the back of beating Pianetta. Because Kevin Johnson knocked out Pianetta last year and he ain't got a top 5 ranking. And nor should he have a top 5 ranking. I'm not saying, and I didn't say, that Johnson should be ranked above Fury. The point I'm making is Johnson does not belong in the top 15 of the WBC, and neither does Fury. That's the point I was making. So don't ever come to my channel and start lying about things that you claim I said, which I absolutely did not say. That's the fastest way to get blocked. And that fool joined the block party with the rest of the fools. And when it comes to the WBC, we be crooks. The WBC have done outrageous things over the years. I'm not saying everything they've done is bad. They've done some good things too. At the end of the day, I'm objective. When the WBC do something good, I'll praise them for it. And when they do something bad, I'll criticize them for it, just like I do with fighters, promoters, and whoever. But just to illustrate some of the outrageous things the WBC have done in the past, apart from making Tyson Fury number 3 after fighting Pianetta, they've done even worse than that before. The WBC sanctioned Canelo Alvarez versus Matthew Hatton for the vacant light middleweight world title. Imagine that. Matthew Hatton had never fought at light middleweight before. Never in his life. He wasn't even a top 10 welterweight in the weight division below. And somehow they put him in the top 10 of the WBC rankings at light middleweight and allow Canelo to fight him. I mean, talk about giving someone a championship. Jesus Christ. So that's just one example of the very, very questionable behavior at the WBC in the past.